What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
I am Iron Man.
You are a toy!
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Server Anakin! I have the high ground!
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm simply saying that life, finds a way.
Welcome back to the Big Movie Boys podcast, the only podcast that's canon in the MCU. I'm your host, Jeremy Bauman, and with me as always is Ben, the first Avenger, Stitch.
Shut!
And Bob, Terrence Howard is my war machine, Liebel.
Don Cheadle's a punk-ass bitch.
So just a little update. We did record an episode last week that is unfortunately lost forever, all about the Legend of Korra. We even invited Jordan back for that one. I apologize to all of my co-hosts as well as our listeners at home for accidentally sending that podcast into the sun. We may or may not redo it sometime in the future. But we're going to move forward today. We're doing a full MCU retrospective this week. But we're putting a Big Movie Boys twist on it with the addition of simultaneously doing a Power Hour, making this the Super Power Hour. But what exactly is a Power Hour for our listeners at home that aren't alcoholics? You would think our resident alcoholic Bob Liebel would be here to explain it. But the king of Power Hours himself will be telling us what we're doing today.
Yeah, for the 5 listeners out there, I think only 4 of you do Power Hours consistently. So this is, you'll do a shot of beer every minute for 60 minutes, and it basically equates to 6 beers within the hour. You don't want to drive after doing one of these. I know Bob said he will be driving after this, but I don't condone that.
Ben is using the word "we" a lot as if he's encouraging our listeners at home to join us. We are doing the exact opposite of that. We encourage all of our listeners to drink responsibly.
Ben is the king of Power Hours is a very fitting introduction. How many do you do a week? Three or 4?
How many hours are there in a week? But yeah, that's the plan. So this podcast will be at least 60 minutes longer than it is right now. If on your timeline you're looking and seeing that there isn't 60 minutes left in that podcast, well, we got a little too drunk. We had to edit a few things out, but it happens to the best of us. Ben, why don't you go ahead and start it off, hit that timer.
And we're rolling.
I want everyone to know I had 3 hot dogs before this.
Yeah.
By his own choice. So, our first topic, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the movies, let's just go around the horn. What is our personal relationship with the MCU or just Marvel more broadly, whether in movie, TVs, comics?
For me, I don't know, superheroes are always cool. Always liked them ever since I was a kid. Always, even when the Marvel movies were shitty in the early 2000s, I still watched basically every single one of them. But then when the MCU came out, then they were actually very, very good movies. I got really into it. Pretty big fan. I got a few comic books and stuff too. I don't know, everything MCU related I'm pretty in on. So I guess you say that. Big fan. Huge fan, actually. I'd use the word huge. First shot. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a rookie on this one. I'm going to be listening to you guys a lot during this and just sitting back and learning some things. But I think I've seen under 10 of the movies. But I don't know why. I do like the majority of them. My big, Korra? Is that no? It's just I feel like I know what's gonna happen at the end, so I don't I'm not energized to see every movie, even though they all look sweet. But overall, every movie I've never been disappointed with. But yeah, I'm not a huge MCU guy.
They're good though.
They are good, yeah. But we're going next to the person who lives for these movies.
Has the biggest boner for MCU.
I mean, the argument could be made that I'm the biggest into the MCU sitting in this room right now.
I think you've already won that argument.
You're not going to catch much argument over here.
Yeah, I mean, I watched, Bob, I watched most of the Marvel movies, the pre-MCU Marvel movies, and enjoyed them because I was an illiterate child who didn't know any better. Never really got into the X-Men movies, though. I've seen most of them, but never got...
Those do suck.
Those aren't in the MCU, though, right?
No, that's all pre-MCU stuff. But I saw Iron Man in theaters, and that movie, changed my life, basically. Still one of my all-time favorites. Top 5er, I'll say it right here, right now.
Fuck that.
And
you have 20 top 5 movies.
And they all suck.
And then I don't think I saw The Incredible Hulk, the first Thor, the first Captain America in theaters, but then when I realized The Avengers was coming out, I watched all those movies, saw The Avengers in theaters, and that it was all over from there. I think I saw almost every other movie in theaters, either the night it came out. There's been a few, both of the final Avengers movies that I saw twice on opening night. I ended up seeing Endgame 4 times in theaters.
You are the person who, before Endgame and before Infinity War, watched all of these movies one a day in a row, like 20 days before or whatever.
Yeah, I did do that twice. 2 years back to back. Spent an entire month basically watching one Marvel movie a day in preparation for Infinity War and
Have you ever
Endgame.
got any like shout outs on social media from that? Because they're like, wow, this dude has no life.
I think from us.
No, I think I lost a few followers during both of those Twitter rants. But
You know, I can just say that I'm very thankful that you're such a big fan because I'm like a pretty moderate to heavy fan, but because you don't have anybody else that likes him as much as you, I get to be his co-pilot to
And
everyone.
Jeremy usually buys the ticket.
He buys that. He waits in line for those tickets, or he waits on whatever site to get them in time, so we see the opening night. It's pretty nice, pretty cool actually. I never have to worry about it. I know I'm getting that text. Hey, I got the tickets. You want to go?
I do always buy 2 tickets, and usually I ask Bob if he wants to go, and Bob knows I don't ask him to pay me back because I don't expect him to
Alibel
anyway,
never
so-
pays his debts.
It's not like you're getting that money. I probably owe Jeremy $50-$60 from Marvel movies over the years.
I would not be surprised. I should run through my my credit card statements and compare that to the Venmos I've gotten from Bob.
It's more than 50.
You've
to
probably
$60.
never gotten one from me, if I'm being honest.
But yeah, I mean, just generally speaking, obviously, super into the movies. The fact that I don't even know how many there are now, 22 movies in the same universe, pretty airtight continuity. They range from good to incredible, save for maybe 2 of them. They got a pretty high batting average, though,
Yeah.
especially if you compare it to any other franchise that's trying to do anything similar.
And anything with that
I
many
mean, when
movies.
DC tried to do it, it's just brutal.
Yeah, you see
There's
what
no good
happens
DC
when
movies.
you can see what happens when it isn't executed well, and I think that's what makes the MCU look even better.
Yeah, like for me, when Marvel, when MCU started becoming a bigger thing, I was just kind of like, this is kind of not dumb. I don't want to say, but it just feels like this seems easy. Like just have all these movies connect, and then you see someone do it the wrong way, and it's like, okay, maybe it's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah.
And all that credit goes to Kevin Feige. I'm pretty sure he's kind of the puppet master behind the scenes, making all that stuff work. So, mad respect to him and everyone else doing what they do. I don't like I don't like sucking up to corporate America and Disney and all that
You're
too
a Marvel
much. But
homer, dude. You say that, but like you put so much money in these dudes' pockets.
it's true. I mean, they have my money till the day I die. I made a tweet at one point that I said if Marvel was selling tickets for Robert Downey Jr. to kick me in the nuts, I'd probably still give them money. That's just the way it is, we all have our
Do you
weaknesses.
think in like 30 years they're still gonna be like all connected from these movies?
When do they shut down? Like, yeah, that's right, Ben. When do they?
Like just say, okay, it's over.
Okay, like this is a new universe.
So all the movies
That
that,
happens
are
in
out,
comics all the time, though.
They
Like,
do
they have
resettle
multiple
them.
universes.
all the movies that are out from Iron Man to Spider-Man Far From Home, those are considered the Infinity Saga. And they've said that they're not going to do anything as ambitious as that again. So the movies coming out are still all part of this continuity, but I don't think
You
they're
don't
going to
think
spend...
in like 20 years they're gonna try it again?
They
think
might
that-
do
Probably not that
another.
big.
They might do another big villain that they work up to, but I don't know that they're going to spend 20 movies building up to another Thanos. They might do 5 or 10 movies at a time, would be my guess, but I
think
don't
what's
know.
next is multiple universes. That's a huge thing in comics.
Like
is
breaking
like
off?
different universes and like different realities. And they go from one reality to the next reality. Like they do that shit all the fucking time. Like there's different versions of each superhero and like different like versions of Earth in all these different realities in the comics, which is kind of interesting. But it's also a way to like avoid like continuity because you can like do it in another universe. You know what I mean? I think that's the most logical next step for them.
And if you look behind the scenes and you know that Disney acquired almost all of the other Marvel assets from Fox because they bought
Besides-
out Fox, that means
Do
they
they
can
have Spider-Man?
introduce- Sony still owns Spider-Man,
That's still so
Those
fucked.
bastards.
which sucks, but now they have the opportunity to introduce the Fantastic Four.
I would love to see a Marvel Fantastic Four.
The X-Men can now be introduced.
Fantastic Four, the 2 times they've done it has been so terrible.
Awful. Like, truly awful. But you know how we talked in the beginning that I used to watch all the shitty Marvel movies? I watched Fantastic Four 1 and Fantastic Four 2, The Silver Surfer, all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
I've seen those movies a bunch, and they're not good.
They're so bad in, like, watching them now.
Huge mistake not having Mark Wahlberg be the lead in those movies.
Yeah. You know who he could be? Holy fuck. Imagine this. Imagine the new Marvel X-Men movies. It doesn't take place...
I think I know where you're going.
Whatever fucking city is the big Marvel city. I don't know what it is. New York?
the fictional city of New York City.
Yeah, doesn't take place there. It takes place in a little town called Boston, Massachusetts, and Wolverine is Mark
It took us
Wahlberg.
less than 8 minutes into this Power Hour.
Can you imagine Wolverine is Mark Wahlberg?
One of the only actors to not be in the MCU.
Just
and
fucking-
he gets
Which is
brought up.
just stunning.
Just grinds out his fucking claws, and he's like, "You're not taking my haba." Like, oh my god, I love that, dude. Fuck. The only thing that would be better. Okay, so Mark Wahlberg, Wolverine, Chris Tucker is Magneto. Jackie Chan is what's the guy that changes color? The little blue guy,
I think you got it right there.
Yeah, I'm blanking. I barely
Preacher
know.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I barely know the X-Men.
Okay, well, how about and then Jackie Chan as Cyclops.
I'm sold. I'm
Yeah.
in.
I'm out.
All right, let's. I've got a couple lists here, a couple best ofs, a couple like high school yearbook superlatives that we can go through pertaining to the MCU. The first one that I brought up was best origin movie, and there could be some debate as to what you consider an origin movie for certain characters, but I picked the ones that I think are clear-cut origin movies. That includes Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America: The First Avenger, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel.
Mine's an easy pick.
Yeah, mine is too, but
Is it not Iron Man for all of us?
No, mine's not Iron Man.
Oh, mine's Iron Man, but probably because it's the only movie on this list that I've seen.
Captain America: The First Avenger is one of my favorite movies. I fucking love that movie. That is without a doubt my pick. That movie's so fucking just fun.
I'm surprised to hear that because that movie gets shit on a lot. I personally like it a lot.
I know it gets shit on all the time. I don't know why. It's like probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. I just really like it. Thor sucks. I've actually never finished Thor. I've never like sat down and watched it on like Disney Plus.
I didn't
or
see
never-
Thor, but I saw Thor Ragnarok, and I like that movie. But
Thor Ragnarok is good, but Thor 1 and Thor 2 suck. Well, Thor 1 doesn't suck. It's just not.
Thor 1's not great, and it's like 80% Dutch angles for the entire movie for
what does
some,
that mean?
where the camera's at like a 30-degree angle.
Oh.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Thor
I gotcha.
is. I've never finished it. Doctor Strange I've never seen. It's been on my list for a while. Ant-Man's really funny.
You can
Like,
take Doctor Strange off your list because it is not a good movie.
I mean, Ant-Man's funny. Ant-Man's probably one of the funniest movies in the.
I think Ant-Man and Captain Marvel are the two that like
Captain Marvel also fucking
I'm
sucks.
upset I haven't seen. Maybe because
You ain't
I'm
missing.
I'm just a
jack
huge
shit
Paul
with
Rudd
Captain
fan.
Marvel.
Oh really? Captain Marvel's bad?
Ant-Man's really good. You would love Ant-Man.
Ben, I think you've never seen Ant-Man? That's surprising.
You would
'cause
love
I think you would
Ant-Man.
really like Ant-Man.
No,
That might be your favorite Marvel movie.
I like Paul Rudd, so I don't know why I haven't seen it.
He's
But
so Paul Rudd in it.
do you think that's the biggest Paul Rudd movie?
Box office wise, gotta be.
Well, yeah, but like,
Is
so Anchorman is where he like becomes the famous. I guess.
I like that
40-year-old
question.
virgin.
I like that question. What is the definitive Paul Rudd movie? Because he's more of a supporting character if you think about it. His
and he's
best
like
roles,
a comedic actor, and so maybe Ant-Man's. I'm sure Ant-Man has.
How many
its, like,
leading
comedic
roles
moments,
does
but-
he have? Oh, it's basically a comedy.
I mean, there's like indie like comedy movies
miss
where it's like I love you, man. Yeah, I think we did. That's another rule about Power Hours. If you think you've missed one, you just take another shot. Go ahead. But no, yeah, Paul Rudd. It's weird because he's never really been like the leading man for a
He's
huge
never been
movie,
the big
and then
movie
he
boy.
becomes a huge Marvel superhero.
I want to say that this is probably his biggest.
It must
his
be.
biggest leading role. It doesn't sound like it because he's such a well-known name, but really, how many movies is he
but
the
like,
star in?
I'm sure he was introduced to like a whole new generation of people just because of that movie.
Yeah, and he's hysterical. Man. You would love that. But for me, it's got to be Captain America. I just fucking love. I love Nazi Germany, man.
But yeah,
I do love like war movies and stuff like that. And I just it's so cool to me that's in like a different setting than all the other ones. It's in a different time period. That's what does it for me. And it's just I don't know. It's just badass. Like I just like seeing like old.
what's
like,
his name
New
again?
York City.
Chris
Evans.
The
He-
most famous actor in the world. Yeah,
He
his
lost.
name's Chris
He
Evans.
lost 100 pounds for this role. Is that true?
No.
He might have put on 100 pounds for this role. He's
Yeah.
huge
He's
in this
absolutely
movie.
yoked
When
out
he
of his
comes out of
mind.
that machine for the first time after getting serumed up,
Is he the only person who's in two Marvel movies then?
Johnny Blaze.
Oh yeah, he's Johnny
fu-
Blaze.
Is that his name?
Is Johnny Blaze the
That
Human
doesn't sound
Torch or
right.
Ghost Rider?
Johnny.
That doesn't sound like he's the Torch. It's Johnny something, but I don't think it's Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Storm?
Yeah,
It's
man,
Johnny
it's
Storm.
Sue Storm.
Sue
yeah.
Storm and Johnny Storm. Yeah.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider.
That just seems like lazy.
You'd almost think that like he would
is
have missed
weird.
out as Captain America because he was already in it.
And it's so weird because if you look at him in Fantastic Four, I don't see Captain America. Like even when I rewatch him, like, that's not the same guy.
No, yeah.
Captain America: The First Avenger might have one of the better supporting casts as well, which kind of sucks because it is set in World War II or whatever, so they don't carry on to the further movies. But you got Stanley Tucci.
Oh,
you
the
got,
Tooch. Love him.
You got what's the old guy who's in Men in Black? Who I'm blanking on.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. A class act.
You got Agent Carter, who does eventually come back in different ways, but
The guy that plays Red Skull, I can't think of his name right now. He's A1, dude.
Is Red Skull the bad guy?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good guy name.
Oh, yeah. Red Skull is not the good guy there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Iron Man. Honestly, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I knew Jeremy would
Is
be
this a
on my
vote?
side. Well, you,
Are we voting? Are we voting? I'm just so used to voting.
It's more, these are topics for discussion. We're not
Well,
trying to
I
prove
got
anything
one pick
here.
for Captain America. Ben, what do you got?
yeah, I'm Iron Man because it's the only movie I've seen, and it's also just a really fucking good movie.
You would like Ant-Man. You would like Captain America.
So what, Bob?
you hate Doctor
What do you
Strange.
think my vote is?
Gun to your head. I'd say it's got to. I think Ben would pick Ant-Man if he saw
Okay,
it.
I'm in.
Ben,
That'll
I'm
be my pick.
genuinely surprised you haven't seen Ant-Man. You should
I think
make
you would
it a
enjoy
priority
Ant-Man.
this
You know what?
weekend.
Your favorite Marvel movie is Ant-Man.
Okay, I'll take it.
But yeah, and I can objectively admit that the third act to Iron Man is fairly
The
lackluster.
worst movie ever.
You just want to suck Robert.
Oh
Downey
no, I'm
Jr.'s
thinking.
dick.
I thought you meant Iron Man 3.
No, I'm saying the third act of the first Iron
Yeah.
Man movie, the final, villain fight and everything is underwhelming.
Yeah.
But that movie sets the tone and the style for the next 20 movies.
Did
to
they
come.
have the plan in
I can
place
agree
at
there.
that point? I know they didn't have like Thanos in play or whatever, but
They didn't have a master plan. It was just
They feel like when did it become this big?
I don't know exact. So the first couple movies were before Disney even bought them. So these are Marvel Studio movies, pre-Disney acquisition. They wanted to start making these movies. They had the seed of an idea to have a bigger continuity. They got Jon Favreau to come in to make the first one. He's the one who brought in Robert Downey Jr. He basically said, I'm only doing this with RDJ. So we have him to thank for that.
Isn't it unbelievable though that they didn't start with this massive plan and they just
I don't know.
You end up with this?
But the reason I'm not a huge fan of MCU is because like these movies are so successful, they've like basically eradicated like small indie movies that like over the years I thought were better movies and like movies that I like watching more. And it's almost like movie companies are just like, well, we can't make those. We have to do something that's going to make over $1 billion. Otherwise, what's the point?
okay, Martin Scorsese. Okay.
But don't
no,
you agree?
I do agree. I do. It is. They changed movies, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things you have to commend them for, but also kind of like look down on them for is that they changed movies, and in some way it can be for the good, and other ways like the ways you're describing is kind of for the bad, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I feel bad, giving them hundreds of dollars to go towards these movies because I do definitely see the downside, but ideally we can live in a world where there's both.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that studios like A24 and Blumhouse are.
That's true. And they'll
They-
always be
those
like
may
they'll
have-
always come back, like bounce back.
Yeah,
I think it's even possible. I don't have any
it's
data
almost
to
like
back this up.
counterculture.
Exactly. I think that the rise of those studios may have been because people are,
Sick of
fatigued
these ones.
with
Yeah.
with the
giant
Marvels. Yeah.
blockbusters like these.
So, maybe they did a little bit of good in both areas. Who's to say? But
Maybe the good guys won in the end.
that's what we learned, right? That's what all these Marvel movies taught us. I think we knocked out the origin movie pretty well. I think a lot of good
Captain
topics were
America.
brought up. No one said Incredible Hulk even as a joke, which I am okay with.
I don't mind that movie.
Is that the Edward Norton one?
Yeah,
I'll always be confused.
that's the pre-Ruffalo Hulk movie.
Can I say that I
Do you
don't
think
like
that's the biggest mistake of his career? Even though he's like a super famous like
Edward Norton's
actor,
Edward Norton's famous enough, but honest to God,
but
I
he'd
could
be
never
rich
see-
as fuck.
I could never see him. Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk, and maybe
That's
stuff.
true.
But that could be just from what we've seen on screen. Can I say one thing? I only like Mark Ruffalo in Marvel movies. I despise him in everything else.
Zodiac.
Great
like
in
him in
Zodiac.
I don't.
Oh,
like
I
him
love
there.
him in
I
Zodiac.
don't know why I just don't like him in there. Zodiac's weird because there's two people from fucking.
It's the Iron Man Hulk movie.
That's the problem. Is like
If only if Jake Gyllenhaal was in.
and
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yeah,
Who's that one?
that's in the Spider-Man one. There's a lot
Oh,
of,
okay.
but that's the thing that you're gonna get now in like actors like that. Jake Gyllenhaal, I don't see Mysterio, but when I see Mark Ruffalo, when I see Robert Downey Jr., I see the Hulk, I see Iron Man, and that's the one thing. Chris Evans is Captain America now. When I was watching Knives Out, I was like, that's Captain America.
He's
You
in
know?
Zodiac too, right?
For all I fucking know, he might be in it. No, but isn't that weird that these actors like Chris Hemsworth? That's Thor.
Yeah, when we were watching that movie at the beginning.
Take it back to the first ever Big Movie Boys podcast.
He basically was Thor. Just his hammer was a gun instead.
Yeah. And lightning was
cool Thor.
Him murdering fucking people. No, but is that's totally true. Right? You only see these.
No, yeah.
When we
watched Knives Out for the podcast, I was like, it was cool to see him like end up being like. Never mind, can't say that because that'll be a spoiler. But like, it's cool to see him be a different character. And like when you first see him, you're like, oh, Captain America. But by the end of that movie, you're like,
totally
okay,
agree. I think he'll be able to shed his like MCU.
And he's done being Captain America. So
yeah,
spoiler alert.
But some people like Robert Downey Jr. I only see him as Iron Man. I only see him as Iron Man going forward, and I look at old films like Zodiac. When I saw Zodiac,
so when you watch Tropic Thunder, you see RDJ, and you're like,
well,
Iron Man.
Maybe not that one. But like what act? Like okay, so what's Paul Rudd? When I see Paul Rudd, I don't think Ant-Man. Like what do you think the most definitive Marvel actor that you'll only see them as their MCU character?
I think for me, Chris Evans, Captain America.
Really? Because you just said that he's shed it by the end of
Knives Out. But I see him on Twitter all the time. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Captain America.
Who do you think, Jerry?
I mean, in Knives
Robert
Out,
Downey Jr. was in like enough other stuff. I feel like
I was more distracted by Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why. I can't, get rid of her from
yeah, she's Hannah
from
Baker.
that series more so than Chris Evans. But yeah, I don't know. I think probably RDJ, honestly, because I haven't seen too many other movies that he's been. I like what Tom Holland is doing, where he's really inserting himself into as many movies as he can, while also being Spider-Man.
He is diversifying. He's doing animated movies. He's in fucking Devil All the Time.
All right, that wasn't a topic I had listed, but a good conversation nonetheless.
Yeah. It's RDJ, though.
All right, sorry, guys.
The next bulleted point I have here, this is going to be a little bit of an ambiguous category. You may be able to argue against some of these movies or for
I'm
other
so
movies
confused by this
if
one.
you want to. I'm calling this the best hero introduction. So this is a movie where heroes are introduced, but they're not origin movies. So when we're comparing these movies, we're doing it through the lens of these heroes that I mentioned being introduced. For example, Iron Man 2, we're introduced to Black Widow and War Machine. In Thor, we're introduced to Hawkeye. In Captain America the Winter Soldier, we're introduced to the Winter Soldier and Falcon. Guardians of the Galaxy, we're obviously introduced to all the Guardians. Arguably an origin movie because it's the origin of the team, but all the individual heroes are already who they are. Avengers Age of Ultron, we get introduced to Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Vision is technically his origin there. Captain America Civil War, we get introduced to Spider-Man and Black Panther.
I think that's the winner there.
Guardians Galaxy Volume 2, we get introduced to Mantis. Thor Ragnarok, we meet Valkyrie, Korg, and Meek. And finally, Ant-Man and the Wasp, we meet the Wasp. So again, looking at through the lens of new heroes being introduced, not in an origin story, which of these kind of stick out to you?
It's easy. And Ben said it too. It's so easy. It's definitely Captain America Civil. We're drunk. Captain America Civil War. You have Spider-Man, who is my favorite superhero of all time is Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys knew that about me, without a doubt. But the way he's introduced in that is amazing, just because he's finally in an MCU movie. But the way Black Panther is introduced in that movie as well, it was a shiver up your spine moment.
Yeah, and like when you eventually watch Black Panther, then, which is like couple of years after, right? And then
like
2 years later. Yeah.
But it's like you could tell that how well crafted they had this universe then that it's like threaded into that movie. I think that one, of course, it's once again I think the only movie I've seen on this list besides Iron Man 2, but that was like I feel like the coolest introduction of new characters. And I can obviously say that without
having seen them all.
Yeah, I mean that's the easy one. I'll make a couple of arguments for some other ones here just to stir up some discussion.
Mantis was big.
I mean, where would they be without Mantis?
Who plays Mantis?
Who plays Mantis?
What is Mantis?
A mantis.
It's just a mantis?
Yeah, praying mantis. You never seen her?
I feel like that's a lie.
She's a woman with antennas and she has empathic powers.
Oh, she's in Avengers movies. Yeah.
Captain America Winter
Don't
Soldier.
shrug that off. Spell empathic.
Empathic, that's not a difficult word to spell.
Is empathic a word?
EMPATHIC.
Tweet us at Big Movie Boys and let us know if Jeremy spelled that right. I'm going to say no.
Captain America Winter Soldier, Now we have to take ourselves back. Ben, have you seen this one at least?
I think
Where
I
are we getting
watched,
introduced?
Like, I think I watched like half of this movie. Wasn't he the bad guy, and then by the end he ends up being like the good guy? And like
In later movies.
Yeah, that's
but
what I meant.
He is the villain in this movie, but the introduction to this.
Oh,
If you go into this blind and you don't know who the Winter Soldier is,
Winter Soldier's the best movie.
When they first introduce you to his character and him and Captain America fight off, and eventually he rips the mask off and you realize it's Bucky from the first movie.
Shit in your pants.
And Chris Evans realizes it's Bucky from the first movie. That is a jaw-dropping moment the first time
I'm
you
gonna switch mine. I'm gonna switch mine because I feel like I just have to. I know I said Spider-Man was my favorite superhero of all time.
how many
Holy mother of fucking shit! Captain America: Civil War is the best.
how many
I've seen
fucking
movie.
bad guys
That's
become
Winter
good
Soldier.
guys within this franchise? Isn't what is it?
Loki?
You don't even know their fucking
Nebula.
names, man. You're not kidding.
I almost called him Lorky, but it didn't sound
Dude,
right
I
in my
wish you
head.
called him Lorky.
Most
that
of the
Loki?
most of the Guardians villains turn good guys by the end. Nebula and Yondu.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do for sure.
dude. But Captain America: Civil War is the best, and for all the reasons you just said a few moments ago, Jeremy.
I'm still talking about Winter Soldier.
Why do I keep doing that, dude? Okay. Yeah, Captain America: Winter Soldier is without a doubt the best Marvel movie.
is it
at least
better
in my
than Summer
opinion.
Soldier?
Yeah. But no, for all the reasons you just said, Jeremy, yeah, that might have to top it for me. Holy
So you like
fuck.
Winter Soldier better than Spider-Man? So your new favorite
The
hero is-
introduction? No. The introduction, that's a better introduction. Have you seen Winter
And-
Soldier?
The more we talk about it, the less likely I
Dude,
like.
you
they
would
watched
you
it.
would literally fucking love that movie. I take it back. Gun to your head. Your favorite Marvel movie is Winter Soldier.
Shit.
Yeah. What are you doing after this?
And Bob, I'll get your fire stoked a little more here. The introduction to Falcon, where Captain
Yeah.
America's running laps and he keeps saying "on your left."
Is that
Oh,
Anthony
that's-
Mackie? I just saw that on Twitter. I saw
That's
like the
fucking
meme of it.
Viagra right there, man. That fucking does it.
And
for
he's like,
you.
"Don't say it on your left." That was actually a funny video.
Yeah,
and
but
then it gets brought back in Endgame
you don't remember when he rose up and
When
he
the
goes on
port-
your left, Cap?
when the portals open.
I'm sure I noticed it, but I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
I was poking through my shorts on that one. Jesus.
So I was just trying to make an argument for argument's sake, and apparently I changed some minds here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you changed my mind too, and I haven't even seen the movie.
all that being said, I'm gonna go with Captain America: Civil War for introducing Spider-Man and Black Panther.
If I had
'Cause-
to vote on it, yeah, it's a. I keep getting Civil War and Winter Soldier mixed up. I'm gonna go Winter Soldier, and you swayed me on my favorite fucking superhero.
I think we can at least agree that between the second and third Captain America movie, the way they introduce characters in those,
Alright.
and that's all Russo brothers right there.
What's the worst one of these then?
From this list that I read off,
I don't know why you put Guardians of the Galaxy. That should be an origin movie.
Again, argument
Mantis,
for
bro.
Origin
origin.
Hawkeye. Hawkeye's pretty fucking dumb.
Which one's Hawkeye?
You don't know who Hawkeye is?
Jeremy Renner, the bow and arrow guy.
No, I knew that one. Yeah, he's a bitch. I don't fucking like Renner on this.
I don't like Scarlet Witch. Quicksilver I could do without, and Vision is just kind of whatever.
I feel like Mantis has to be the worst one.
Yeah, why'd they make the list?
Because she's introduced in this movie. What do you want me to tell you? All right, next topic of discussion here is going to be another list for me to read off. It is the most anticipated movie that will be coming out. This list that Ben is about to read, these are all the confirmed movies that they have said are either in production or will be coming out in more or less this order.
I'll probably see two of these. Here we go. Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, Untitled Spider-Man sequel, Thor, Love and Thunder, probably watch that one, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther 2, hopefully that still finds a way of coming out, Untitled Captain Marvel sequel, Blade, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, definitely won't watch that, Untitled Ant-Man and the Wasp sequel, another Fantastic Four film, I'll probably watch that one, and then a mutant-centered film.
They're doing Blade. Oh, isn't Blade Mahershala Ali? That's who Blade is.
What? Oh,
Isn't it?
fuck, I like that.
Like, if you think of like pre-MCU movies that are good, it's Blade.
When was
It's
that
the
movie?
Spider-Man. It's like early 2000s. It might not even be late 90s.
I never saw Blade.
Blade's good, but like you couldn't cast anybody better as Blade than Mahershala Ali.
I fucking love that dude.
He's like Wesley Snipes, but like cooler, which is like hard to do.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. Obviously, Black Widow should have come out by now. Are we excited for that movie? We've seen trailers for it.
Don't give that big of a shit about it. And then my other pick here would Black Panther 2 because oh my god, it's gonna be good.
But who knows now what that's
it
gonna
gets
look
me
like.
nervous. It gets me nervous.
I just hope. I'm assuming they'll end up finding a way to make that like amazing somehow.
They will.
What is Blade?
He's a vampire.
Okay, this is where you're gonna fucking lose me.
Oh
Fuck
no,
that
bad.
shit.
He's a bad motherfucker. He's a goddamn vampire.
For me,
dude.
like as like the biggest Ant-Man fan here,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp sequel.
Yeah. I'm gonna go probably Spider-Man. 'Cause I love him.
There's
I hope him and
honestly-
Zendaya kiss.
There's so many on this list that I'm excited for. Spider-Man, obviously. Thor: Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi is back for the sequel there. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn is back after getting taken off the project. He went and made the Suicide Squad. Now he's coming back for Guardians 3. I'm excited for what a Fantastic Four or
That's the
X-Men
one I
movie
think
could
I'm
look like
actually,
in the
like,
MCU.
excited
In
for.
reality, what are you most excited for? Because how many of these properties are new here? We have Blade, we have Fantastic Four, and then
Are the
Mutant-
Eternals new?
Eternals are new.
Eternals are new, but I don't know anything about them, so I can't say I'm excited.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings is new. The one it's tough for me. The one if I had to pick one, it would be a split between Guardians 3 and
Then that's
Thor:
not
Love
one.
and Thunder.
That is not one,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
you said if I had to pick one, and I'll name two.
If I had to pick one, I would share that one vote between Guardians 3 and Thor: Love and Thunder.
If I had to pick one, I would share that vote between Blade and the untitled Spider-Man sequel, without a doubt.
If I had to share my one vote, I would take one of my votes away from Jeremy's Guardian of the Galaxy 3 because I fucking hate the first one so much. It's like the little kid version of a superhero movie. I hate it so much.
What the fuck
I
are
fucking
you talking
hate Guardians
about,
of the
dude?
Galaxy.
What?
You're about to get kicked off this episode.
fucking-
You're right.
Shout out to Phil on that one. But no, yeah, I don't like that movie. Sorry, guys. And then Fantastic Four.
I don't accept your
I
apology.
never saw the one with like Michael B. Jordan.
Apparently,
It's-
that one's even worse.
It's
Is it?
considered one of the worst movies.
Is
ever.
Miles Teller in that one too?
Yeah, I think he's Mr.
Does-
Fantastic.
yeah, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
Michael B. Jordan's Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
Johnny
Confirmed.
Storm. And let's see if we can name the whole cast. Okay, so Michael B. Jordan
We're
is.
not going to do that. All we know for sure is that even if this
Shot.
Fantastic Four movie sucks, whoever plays the Human Torch will then go on to play an even better role in the MCU.
Dude, yeah.
Well then, because Michael B. Jordan became.
But even they just became ultra famous regardless. Like Michael B. Jordan's one of the biggest names. Chris Evans, and who's the? Well, they obviously. Do we know who plays Johnny Blaze in the third one?
No, the Fantastic Four and X-Men are pretty far in the future, and with COVID, it probably even further in the future now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Black Widow and Eternals, I think. Black Widow's obviously done. Eternals, I think, is done as well. And then I don't know where the rest of these lie as far as production goes, but I don't know. I mean, I think we split the board pretty well on this one as far as what we're looking forward to. So we can all agree that we will keep giving Marvel our money going forward. Let's look back at movies that have come out again.
I'm having heart palpitations.
That's good.
Bob, why did you eat 3 hot dogs? I told you that was a mistake. You're taking 3 sips to do these shots.
I know.
And not even finishing them.
I feel the onions.
Let's. I thought this would be an interesting little topic here because there's not too many to pick from. The best trilogy within the MCU, and there's only 3.
Let me hear them.
Thor is not the winner here.
The
Thor's
Iron
about to
Man.
be a what's it called? four movies.
You got the Iron Man movies, the Captain America movies, and the Thor movies are the only series to have 3.
I know what you're going to vote for, and I'm going to strongly disagree because it's Captain America.
See, I've seen all 3 of the Iron Mans. The only one I like is the first one. And I've seen one of the Captain Americas, and that's Civil War, which is what, the third one? Is that the third one?
Yeah.
Great time to start
And
on a trilogy.
Bob and I
right?
agree that you would love Winter Soldier, so count that pretty high on your list as well.
And Bob loves the origin story of that one.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I would go with Captain America.
Got to be Captain America here. Honest to Christ, probably like if I had to rank my top 10 Marvel movies, these 3 on this trilogy are almost all in the top.
Where does
5
this trilogy rank against Lord of the Rings?
behind it?
Here's what I thought was
Those are
interesting
fighting words.
with these 3 movies is that I think each one of these has one of the top 5 maybe
No.
in them. Iron Man 1, Captain America Civil War, and Thor Ragnarok might all be top 5 MCU movies.
disagree?
Absolutely.
What do you disagree with there?
Everything he said. I'd say that I'd put all three. I would put all three Captain America movies above every other movie on this list of the trilogies. So all three Iron Mans, all three Thors, all three Captain Americas are above those.
That's not true. Ragnarok is
No.
incredible.
Incredibly shit compared to the Captain America movies. Like, honestly, like, you're telling me Winter Soldier, the best Marvel movie, without a doubt.
I'm not telling you that.
And Civil War, for being Civil War, how much have we talked about Civil War on this list?
For like 5 minutes.
It's the Captain America trilogy.
Bob, I'm not inclined to even disagree with you. I just want
better
you
not.
to put some respect on Iron Man 1 and Thor Ragnarok, because I agree. Captain America has the highest average between all of them, because it varies.
I watched
the
Iron Man 1
Mans-
on a bus. And it was okay.
Thanks for that context.
Let me factor that into my decision.
You better.
I would say the Iron Man movies.
For me personally, I was gonna pick Captain America, but
Good.
I was
Two-
gonna pick
two-
Iron Man, but the fact that he watched Iron Man on a bus, I gotta change my vote to Captain America for sure.
My argument is that the Iron Mans get progressively worse. Everyone shits on Iron Man 2. I like that movie a lot, but Iron Man 3 is not great. Captain America's get progressively better. The
Sure.
first one's good. Everyone shits on that one. Second one's great. Third one's incredible. Thor starts out okay. Then the second one's probably the worst movie in the entire franchise.
It is.
And then the third one is one of the best movies in the franchise.
But I just think that means it's the worst out of these three
The
trilogies.
third one's possibly the worst movie in the MCU.
Ragnarok?
No, the second one.
Second
Yeah,
one, second one,
okay,
sorry.
yes. No, I think it is pretty definitively. So, which is why I agree. Captain America is probably the best trilogy, but they all have their moments.
I can agree they all have their moments. It's just the moments in Captain America are much better.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Are we
Let's,
gonna Lord of the Rings rule this?
Shot.
when we vote at the very end for what the best trilogy is, we'll remember that Captain America has its own category. All right. Let's look again once more into the crystal ball, into the future, and let's discuss what our most anticipated Disney Plus show is. They've announced a plethora of Disney Plus shows that are going to start coming out in, I think, a month. I think the first one comes out in October, maybe November. I don't remember. But Bob, why don't you give us the list here of the shows rather that we have to look forward to?
Pretty interesting list, honestly. We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk.
Guess who won't be watching fucking Hawkeye?
I did not know that about 80% of these were coming out. The only ones I knew were Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. I actually knew Loki as well, but What If, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight,
What is
She-Hulk?
What If about?
Yeah, what is What If about?
What If is an animated show, and
Like if Thanos won?
it's just like all these different scenarios in the MCU. It's like, what if Captain America, instead of having a shield, had a sword or
Oh,
something
fuck
like
that.
that? That's
is it like a
probably
cartoon for
I thought you were
kids?
gonna say what if Captain America was Captain Russia?
was probably a better idea.
That's something that exists in the Black Widow movie.
Oh, sorry.
That's who David Harbour plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think for me, honestly, when they first announced these, I wouldn't say I was excited for any of them. As stuff has come out, and I've learned that these aren't so much TV shows as they are kind of like 3-hour-long movies that they've cut into like 30-minute chunks. Is how
Wish
they,
this was on Quibi, man.
if only, right?
It
But
is-
the Falcon and Winter Soldier and everything we've seen from WandaVision, those two shows, they look
they'll be
awesome.
good. They'll be good.
What's Wakanda Vision?
It's WandaVision.
Oh shoot, sorry on that one.
And it's Scarlet Witch and Vision apparently living in like some fantasy
Yeah.
world in Scarlet Witch's head.
Are you excited about Loki?
Loki will be fun. I feel like the only one maybe one day I'll pull a dickhead Jeremy move and watch all these movies and then get myself into these, but I feel like just looking at this right now, the only one I'd watch is Moon Knight, and it just because it sounds cool.
Isn't he like Batman, kind of?
Moon Knight is like one of the dumbest heroes in the Marvel universe. Apparently, I can't wait for that. I don't
think
even know
he's-
what they're gonna do with it. And I
You
can't
know what's
wait.
bad if they're making a TV show
I think
instead
he's
of
like
a movie.
Batman ripoff, isn't he?
I think he is. He's also like crazy. Like his superpower is that he's
Ooh.
crazy.
So instead of Dark Knight, they went with Moon Knight. Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
You need to see this guy. You know what? I'm gonna pull up a picture for
Yeah,
you so we
he
can get
looks
your
weird.
live reaction on the podcast. He is something to look at. All right, Ben, what do you think of Moon Knight?
Moon Knight looks fucking weird, dude. He looks like obviously a Batman ripoff, and I fucking hate him. Do they have any idea who's supposed to play him, or is this too far in the future?
I think it's too far in the future. If they have cast him, I don't know.
Is
who it
Robert
is.
Pattinson playing the Dark Knight and the Moon Knight?
Wow. When is he gonna get his MCU debut?
Who could he play? Let's do a little impromptu.
Moon Knight.
Who do you cast Robert Pattinson as in an MCU movie? And it can be somebody that has already been cast. You could cast him as Iron Man right now.
I could see him in the Guardians universe.
No,
of
fuck
cast of
that
characters.
bullshit. Captain America. I want a British guy being Captain America.
There is a Captain Britain in the comics, or I don't think he's called Captain Britain, but there's a United Kingdom version of Captain America.
Captain UK.
It might be that might be what it's called.
There you
I
go.
would maybe give that to him, possibly.
You're welcome.
He's not yoked enough though. Like Chris Evans is jacked
What
out of
about
his
villain?
freaking mind.
What about
You don't
villain?
think he's committed enough to the craft?
What about villain?
Who the fuck is? That's one of the names.
No,
is
a
just
villain. A villain. Who's a villain? The new Loki?
Loki.
New Loki? He could be Loki.
He could have been Loki, dude.
Nah, Tom Hiddleston as Loki was great casting. I don't know. Any
What
other
about? What are you
thoughts?
guys most excited for? Did you already say? You said WandaVision or no?
I would say, I don't know. WandaVision looks like weird. Like I'm like
Looks
kind of like
trippy.
trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are looking forward to like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Gun to my head, Falcon Winter Soldier. But honestly, we were just talking mad shit about Moon Knight. I think it might be good.
I don't know anything about it, and I'm looking forward to it.
She-Hulk, we haven't even talked about.
She-Hulk is interesting because does that mean like she's gonna?
She's the Hulk.
I know, but is she gonna just mate with Hulk and they just make Hulk babies?
You have a lot of. You have a very bad conception of what She-Hulk is.
How did Hulk become Hulk? I didn't watch that first movie. So like, how the fuck is there
Gamma
another fucking Hulk?
radiation.
Gamma radiation.
Yeah, they didn't. She didn't have sex. She-Hulk didn't have sex with regular Hulk to get his Hulk powers.
Okay, that's what I would have only assumed.
All right, let's. I think we got through the Disney Plus shows. Unless you guys have anything to add to that, I got a few more here that aren't. We don't have any lists to read off. The next
Good.
question is
Shit.
simply, whose powers from anyone shown in any of the MCU movies would you want most
I
in
mean,
real
most
life?
realistic is like Iron Man. That shit's coming. But,
Mine's
like,
Spider-Man.
besides Moon Knight,
To live to live in New York City though only. Like I could live in New York City and I could be Spider-Man. 'Cause
and
that's
deliver pizzas.
how many-
Yeah, because you can't do that in.
You can't-
You
yeah.
can't do that in Buffalo.
no, you can't.
You're gonna run out of real estate
Yeah.
real quick.
It's got to be like near. It's got how many cities can you really do that in? New York City.
Can't do it in L.A.
Dubai, like fucking.
Yeah, Dubai was
Dubai's
definitely second
pretty
on my
good.
list. Maybe you're right with Spider-Man. on that
Spider-Man
one.
living in New York City, you can get literally almost anywhere in one of the most major cities in the entire world. You have super strength, super speed, super reflexes. You can shoot
He has
fucking
super
webs.
speed.
I think it's
Not,
implied
not,
off
not
of
like
super strength.
Flash, but he
But
could beat
he's-
you in a race.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, my knee jerk is Spider-Man, but I also think like logistically in the real world, there aren't too many places where you get away with that sort of web slinging ability, which is then I'd default to Iron Man. But also, I think Thor might be pretty badass.
No, you guys are wrong. Actually,
What can Thor not do though, Ben? Who are you gonna say right now? Let me hear it.
I want to go with Hulk. I think it'd be fucking sweet to just become the biggest. I would fucking play running back for the Bills and just lead us to a Super Bowl, bro.
You'd kill a lot of people.
I don't care. We'd win the Super
You'd
Bowl.
kill a lot of people in the process. There'd be a lot of dead bodies on the field. Hulk isn't bad.
I just have to control my temper. Couldn't do any
Yeah.
power hours.
Gun to your head?
Yeah. Is anyone saying Hawkeye here?
No.
Ooh, I want to be really good at shooting arrows.
Is anybody here a virgin? No, but for me, it's Spider-Man pretty handily, honestly. My next one would probably be Captain America, if I'm being honest.
Just want to be yoked?
Yeah, just be jacked out of my mind. Captain America, you get all the benefits of being like Hulk without having to probably kill people and destroy property, you know? Can you imagine Captain America as a running back for the Buffalo Bills?
Oh, that's a good point, though. Hulk has got to
For all the
Probably
same
has a
reasons you
lot-
want to be Hulk, Captain America would be better.
That's probably a good point. Like Hulk has probably a ton of lawsuits against him.
Yeah.
They explore that in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Do they?
Kinda. They have
Sorta.
If they don't there, they will in What If.
Tony Stark builds a Hulkbuster suit to control the Hulk because he has all this collateral damage when he's helping fight in whatever town they're in.
You're painting a great picture.
I basically wrote it myself. But now that we're discussing it, I might lean towards Thor.
Why? Wait.
Because
wait, no, we didn't.
I'm going back to Captain
No, no,
Marvel.
no, no, no.
all the
we gotta
reasons
go back
you
to Thor.
said Captain America, Thor,
Jeremy's kind of right there too, except you have the power of fucking lightning too.
and flight
yeah, he can fly.
with a hammer.
That's true.
Wait,
But
doesn't Captain Marvel fly?
we're not talking
Captain
about-
Marvel's pretty OP.
Okay, but honestly, for all like you said, yeah, all the reasons that I like Captain America, Thor's.
Yeah, being a god would be pretty cool. I
Hang on,
guess.
guys.
he
I
can
need,
fly.
I need to rephrase the question. If we had to draft a running back on the Buffalo Bills based on the MCU, who would
Who's
it be?
tackling Hulk, dude? No one. You think Hulk could ever be taken down? I'm sorry. I don't care if you're Thor. You don't get your hammer out on the field.
Yeah, but I think gamma radiation might be a PED.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that.
So
Is he even
I-
qualified to play?
I don't know.
Do they
Shit.
test for that?
Thor would be good. Who do you think the fastest MCU superhero is? Because you have obviously
Flash.
he's not in the MCU. Because no, really.
Quicksilver, but he's dead, so he's
Okay,
pretty
okay.
slow now.
Yeah, so he's done. Take Quicksilver out of it. Besides that, because this is sort of what we're trying to determine here.
Are we talking foot race? Who's winning in a foot race?
Foot race.
100 meter?
Take Quicksilver out of it. Who do you think wins?
They
Captain
did
America.
in Ultron.
Oh yeah, Captain America, Hulk, Thor,
Hulk's like-
Spider-Man. Who do you think wins?
Is
in a foot
Hulk like
race?
how far? 40-yard dash?
It's called a 100-meter dash. The true test of
100
speed.
meter. If we went with 40-yard dash, it might take the Hulk. Because I
'Cause
think
he'd
just
jump
one
it.
jump.
Yeah, he'd probably
he
jump
got
it.
But with that second jump, I think one of these guys takes
Because
it.
he'll go half fucking 6 feet into the ground, probably.
That's a good point.
Well, you got to think Captain America and Black Panther are pretty evenly paced.
Black Panther. Put him in there too. Who do you think the fastest
But
is?
does
in
he
a
get?
100-yard
He
dash
gets the
besides Quicksilver?
vibranium. Does
No, it-
vibranium make you faster?
No,
No,
yeah,
it's
it's the flower.
the
Oh,
potion
gotcha,
that he
gotcha. Oh,
swallows.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I would take him. Black
I'm gonna
Panther.
go Captain America.
I'm going with Black Panther.
We do
if
have
we're
that
doing-
scene. We do have that scene in Civil War where they do race a little bit.
It's in
Well,
Infinity War.
No, he's thinking Fast and the Furious.
No, Civil War.
well, they
race in
they
the
kind of
street.
run towards it.
They're
Oh, yeah,
running.
you're right. But Winter Soldier,
Winter
Captain
Soldier's in
America,
there
and Black
too.
Panther are all kind
Shot.
of evenly paced there.
That's true.
I was thinking in Infinity War when they're about to fight the Thanos' army and Captain America and Black Panther lead the charge
that's
running
another
down
one.
the hill
Yeah.
there.
I'd say they're equally as fast. I'm going to give a slight edge to Captain America.
I would
answer
go-
the-
I would
answer
go
the
with Black
question.
Panther for speed.
Yeah.
So who are we drafting?
we
As
go
the
with
Buffalo
first-
Bills running back, who are we drafting?
Well,
I'm
I
going to
would-
go Captain America.
Well, if Hulk counts, I'm going with Hulk. If he's not suspended,
He's suspended for gamma radiation usage.
then I would take Black Panther, and he gets the vibranium.
Okay, Jeremy, it's up to you then. Me and Ben are in the war room right now. We don't know who we're going to draft. Who are you going to pick? You're the deciding vote.
I think Captain America might have the pure strength advantage, but I think if you're talking speed
Who's
and,
more elusive?
and agility and elusiveness, you got to go Black Panther.
Dude, if you're going wide receiver, maybe I'll go with Captain America. But running back,
Okay, I'll take it.
Let's trade up. Let's take them both.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to one of our final categories here: the best villain in the MCU. Heroes are only as good as their villains. There might be an easy answer here, but I think there's a few more we can throw out there as contenders.
For me, okay, so it really comes down to two, in my opinion. It's Killmonger and Black Panther, and it's Thanos.
Yeah, definitely Thanos for me.
There's a few others that maybe Jeremy will bring up, but Ben, who do you have?
Yeah,
Ben?
but like Killmonger's like fucking sweet. Like I think I'm still on his side a little bit too. Like you get his point of view more,
Which
like,
makes a good villain.
yeah. And like Thanos, you guys say it. You guys think it's Thanos?
The way it's
then-
pronounced,
Just
Thanos.
us. Yeah, it's just me and Bob who say that.
Yeah, but
Thanos
like,
to everybody
he
else.
is- oh, I gotta take a shot here. I missed one. The reason why like he probably takes it is just because like everyone knows who he is. I just feel like he's a great fucking. He's actually kind of scary. Like he wants to murder 50% of everyone.
And they also seeded him in 2012 and paid him off in 2018.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's incredible. Like Killmonger is a great like. If we were just talking like one movie,
One-offs?
he's probably the best. Like over Loki, like Loki's good. Like just in the
His arc.
yeah,
as a
Loki's
villain.
arc is good. You gotta agree there.
yeah. It just sucks that Killmonger's dead because I feel like he could have had like a huge arc, and he would have been one of those villains that becomes a good guy. You could see that.
Probably, yeah.
Potentially, but at the same time, they gave him the opportunity at the end of Black Panther, but you understood why he would rather die than, join the good fight, as it were.
Iconic line.
And, I think Thanos is the easy pick. I will throw out a few just to throw them out there. We already mentioned Loki, but Spider-Man has two great villains in this franchise with Vulture and Mysterio.
I'll say it, and this is something that, to get off the MCU train a little bit, I think what to me makes a good superhero is its villains. And I think, honest to God, like if you go across platforms, whether it's DC...
That's why Dark Knight's the best movie ever.
That's what I'm saying. Batman clearly has the best like rogues gallery you can have. He has the best villains to go along with him being a superhero. And
It builds him up.
The close second is easily Spider-Man. Spider-Man's supervillains are unbelievable, and we haven't even seen all of them on screen.
Yeah, we've barely scratched the surface.
Not even close. Yeah, and you've seen a lot of Batman ones on screen.
But Sandman was great.
Sandman could have been better in that movie, but like Sandman's a great villain. Spider-Man has a lot of amazing villains. Like and that's just fucking ammo for the future, you know? Like you're gonna get better and better movies because he has such good villains, and that's why to me Spider-Man's my favorite because his villains sort of complement him. In the same way that...
So Spider-Man's your favorite villain?
No. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero because
of
his villains are
but,
so
But
good.
who do you think the best villain is then? You think it's Thanos?
Oh, in this? It's hard to compare. In terms of MCU, I don't know. It's Thanos or Killmonger for me. As much as I just went on a little rant about how much I like Spider-Man's villains, at the end of the day, it's got to be Thanos or Killmonger for me. So I kind of contradicted myself. But I mean, what do you think, Jay?
I mean, I think you got to give it to Thanos, but I agree. If we're talking one-off villains, then it's Killmonger.
Yeah, I agree.
Killmonger kind of leaves a bigger impact on me.
It's just like he has a better claim to being like someone you could see his point of view like that.
Thanos by the end, you're like, okay, this is the bad guy. But there is a few brief moments where you're like, I kind of get him. I kind of understand why he's trying to do this.
I mean,
he is a sympathetic like.
I almost get it. Maybe we just need the population on Earth needs to be cut in half.
I can sympathize with Thanos for a little bit, but he truly identifies himself as the bad guy in Endgame. Like I see him as an evil character in Endgame. Maybe in Infinity War, I'm kind of like on the fence, and I'm just like, oh shit, like this makes sense. When it comes to Killmonger, though, when that movie's over, I'm just like, that motherfucker might have been right.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, I'm going to give it to Killmonger. Okay, because at the end of the day, when the movies are over, when the credits fucking roll, Killmonger to me still, I sort of sympathize with him. Thanos, I was sympathizing with in Infinity War. By the time Endgame was over, I was like, no, that was the bad guy. And he doesn't redeem himself in any way. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Cut and dry. I'm going to give it to Killmonger. I'm maybe an upset vote. I don't know what you guys are voting on, but...
I'm not voting. I think it's just between those two. It just depends on what you're
looking for that day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Today's Killmonger for me.
All right, we are approaching the end of our power hour, if you can't tell by the speech getting slightly more slurred as it goes along. So let's get into potentially the most heated topic. What is the best movie in the MCU? There's, 22 to pick from? Where do we even want to start, guys?
I mean, I'll start because I have no idea. I'll
go
out of
with the 6 you've seen? It's a much narrower choice for you.
Out of the ones I've seen personally... I think I would go with like Captain America Civil War. I've probably seen 10 of these in full.
Can I call bullshit? Civil War can't be your favorite movie. That's the end of a trilogy. You haven't seen the first two.
That's totally fair.
And you would like...
All right, fuck that then. I'm going with Black Panther then because that's probably my favorite movie.
Okay. I think that's a very fair vote, and I think that's going to that's going to hold on in the end of the discussion because that's up there for... I'm assuming both of us.
You know what doesn't make the cut, though? Iron Man 2, Jeremy. Shut the fuck up saying it's a good movie.
I'm not saying it's the best movie.
I'm
saying it's better than people give it credit for.
Honestly, honest to Christ, I got to say, for me, my favorite movie, and we've talked about this before, me and Jeremy, is that Endgame and Infinity War.
Oh, thanks for the invite to that convo.
You haven't seen any of the movies. Those are on a different level. Endgame and Infinity War, I think.
That's one movie to me.
No, but for this discussion, can we count that as like a Lord of the Rings rule?
There's no rules. We're not voting. It can do whatever you
Okay,
want.
so I'm going to leave those out because I think those are my obvious choice. Like that's so far and beyond any of the other movies, Endgame and Infinity War, that I don't even count it. I don't even count that as a movie. That's an experience.
Sure.
But I'm going to say my favorite movie is without a doubt Winter Soldier. That thing fucking blows my socks off every time I watch it. Unbelievable.
And you've seen that 50 times, or
10 or 12, and George St. Pierre is in it. It was a UFC fighter, so that's two of my check marks.
That is true. I probably should have mentioned this. I guess we kind of brought it up in the preamble, though. I don't think there's an MCU movie that I haven't seen at least 4 times.
That sucks. That's
Some
embarrassing.
10 or more. But,
yeah, you can cut that, Jer.
But yeah, this is tough because best can mean so many different things, and that's why I used the word best.
What does it mean to you, though?
That's the question, right? If I'm thinking...
To Ben, it's
If
whatever
you-
movie I've seen.
Jeremy, here's a good way to look at it. If you were going to die tomorrow, and with your last meal there, like you can watch one Marvel movie, what movie would you pick?
I love that. I love the way he just worded
And then I also want your last meal.
last meal would be... I mean, if you put it that way,
Yeah.
it's got to be Endgame because it's the cherry on top.
That's a pussy.
I love the way you
ass
worded
answer.
it. I love the way you worded that
It's
question.
the cherry on top of the banana split sundae that
See, I
asked
thought you
for
might
my
go with
final
Iron
meal.
Man 1. Go back to where it all began.
Ben.
I, if you guys will let me, then I'll elaborate on what best means to me because it
Let me
means
get
so
the
many
gun.
means so many things. If you ask me the objective best movie in the MCU, and I'll even pass the question on to you guys as well, the objective best movie in the MCU is Infinity War.
Yeah, I like the part where half the people die.
I think as the way it's structured as a movie, the way it's executed, the way they balance the huge cast of characters, I think there's only 2 people on the planet who could have done it. They're the Russo brothers, and they did do it. Endgame transcends what it means to be a movie.
Final shot.
They don't follow the standard conventions of making a movie necessarily for Endgame because it's just a 3-hour nostalgia fest,
Yeah.
wrapping on the present, icing on the cake sort of thing.
I might agree.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Just for me, the reason why I feel like I shouldn't get a say in any of this, but I just knew that the other movie was coming, and I knew it would all work out in the end, and it just...
You have to suspend your disbelief, though.
I know you do, but maybe I did like that one the most then because for a second I was like, shit, that was a good idea by him.
But then, I mean, there's other obviously Iron Man holds a special place in my heart. I said it 100 times. If we're talking about legitimately, I think the movie that I left the theater, besides Endgame, that I left the theater and it had the most impact on me, and I physically had to go to the theater again to watch it like 3 days later, was Black Panther. Like, I left the theater and I couldn't
Black
get it out
Panther
of my
was so
head
good.
until I went back and saw it again like
Just
3 days
like
later.
that, if you want to talk about an experience, that's like a movie that's an experience too, because you got like all the the great music too in that fucking movie,
Incredible soundtrack.
and I don't know, it's just sweet. Like
I
it's
still
just a
listen to that
sweet
soundtrack.
fucking movie.
I do watch Black Panther all the time, though, and you know what? What I was about to say, and I'm gonna retract it because as it was about to come out of my mouth, I realized I was wrong. I was gonna say that I've watched Black Panther so many times that I don't like it anymore, but I'm telling myself that because I've seen it 15 fucking times. I've literally seen Black Panther so many times, so it almost is old for me at this point. And I was going to say something like Winter Soldier I enjoy more, but I've only seen Winter Soldier like 3 or 4 times. If I watched Winter Soldier as many times as I watched
Maybe
Black
it would
Panther,
wear off. Yeah.
exactly. And I think I could watch Black Panther right now and still enjoy the fuck out of it. If I watched Winter Soldier as many times as I watched Black Panther, would I enjoy it as much? I don't know. Winter Soldier is my gun to my head favorite fucking MCU movie, but Black Panther is one that you cannot ignore.
I'd be remiss to not mention Thor Ragnarok against Bob's
shit outta here.
choice. I
Get
gotta
shit outta
mention
here.
Guardians against Ben's choice. Those are easily 2 of the
Guardians.
best movies.
Guardians is not your favorite movie.
I didn't say it's my favorite, but it's up there.
No.
Well, it cancels out with mine because it's my least favorite.
That's how that works, yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, If gun to
Are
my
we trying to
head,
decide?
No, I'm okay with not coming to a conclusion on this.
yeah, no, we don't need to come to a unanimous agreement here. But
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Bob, pick my favorite movie.
Ant-Man.
Is it Ant-Man?
It's Ant-Man.
Okay.
you heard it here first. The best movie in the MCU, according to Bob, according to Ben, is Ant-Man. Boy, oh boy, how we feeling?
I'm tipsy for sure. There's actually a gun to my head, I think, at this point, telling me I have to wait until this podcast is over to pee, and it's killing me.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone listening. Hopefully we didn't meander and slur our words too much at the end here. Editing this will be
I'm
interesting.
gonna run.
We'll be back next week with our review of The Devil All the Time. So if you want to watch that this weekend so you're prepared for our review on Monday, you can look forward to that. Until then, thank you for listening, and remember, we love you 3000.